Hello, good evening, everyone. Okay, good evening, and welcome to my class of answering questions for SPM students, okay, of 2024. Okay, I hope that you are studying very, very hard these 2 weeks because your exam is coming soon, okay, after 1 week of holiday, okay, your Chinese New Year holiday. Okay, so today I would like to present to you another question, another SPM question that is of SPM level, and I hope that it will help you to answer your questions. All right, I'll answer your SPM, the coming SPM. All right, okay, I'm going to share screen now. So if you would like to let me know who you are, just type hi and I'll be able to see your name. All right, okay, let me just add my slide onto the stage. All right, okay, so I hope you can see this. All right, okay, so today is actually I've done 8 sessions, some of them having one session I have 1 question, sometimes I have 2 questions. So altogether I've already shared about 9 questions. Okay, so today is the 9th question, so it's the 8th session. So I'm going to start with, of course, with introducing myself. I'm a teacher from Ipoh Perak. I've been teaching for 31 years and my major is biology. All right, okay, biology and English. So let's get straight to the today's lesson, which is a question on sexual reproduction of plants. Okay, so here you will see, do you know what flower this is? Okay, now it looks like bunga raya. Actually, it's not bunga raya. And not many students will actually know what kind of flower it is. Now, this kind of flower is actually pollinated by bats. You see a bat here. Okay, actually, this is a durian flower. So durian flowers are actually pollinated by bats. Okay, so what's the question today? So diagram 1.1 shows an organism carrying out an activity. Alright, okay, so you can see what activity are they doing. Alright, so you know, if we look at flowers, we have anthers and the stigmas and all that. You can only think of one thing. Actually, animals help pollination. So this activity is actually pollination. All right, I don't say flying, right? Everyone can see the animals flying, but what we're talking about is actually pollination because there's flower here. All right, so explain the role of this organism in assisting the transfer of gamete of the flower. So we see this word, assisting the transfer of gamete. So the transfer of gamete is actually pollination. Okay, so what this question wants you to explain is pollination, actually. So this is very easy, just 2 marks. Actually, you just need 2 points to talk about pollination. Number 1, the word pollination is not given in the question. That means you can write, you can give the name pollination, and probably there'll be 1 mark for that. Okay, so let's look at the answer scheme. All right, okay, so 2 marks for this question, first part. So that is a pollinating agent. Okay, so you can see, you can recognize that this is an animal, this is a bat actually. So bat is a pollinating agent. And what you're actually looking at is now the process of pollination, which means transfer of pollen or the male gamete. Okay, that is pollination. Or you can say pollination occurs. Same point. All right, from where to where? So it's from the anther to the stigma. It's always from the anther, which produces the pollen grains, and the stigma, which the female part, which receives the pollen grains. Okay, so here are 3 points. Actually, all you need is just any 2 points. Okay, so the first question is always very easy. Okay, let's go to the second question. Yeah, A2 actually. Okay, so this question, now A2, diagram 1.2 shows the development of an embryo in a plant. Okay, zygote divides by mitosis to form terminal and basal cells. Okay, so this part probably you would not revise much. Okay, so if you did not revise, of course, try not to choose this question now, right? Your essay, you have a choice. Okay, but if you have revised it, so you need to explain, okay, what the question here explains what happens if this R structure does not develop. Okay, so the question comes now. Actually, you can see the terminal cell. This is what happens after pollination and after fertilization. You will have an embryo, and the embryo is actually connected, okay, to the wall of the ovary here. Okay, so here the question here is explain what happens. Okay, predict what happens if structure R fails to develop. So you need to know what is structure R. Okay, structure R is actually the suspensor which holds the embryo. Okay, so terminal cells undergoes mitosis, or terminal cell develops to form embryo. Okay, so the terminal cell is a cell that actually is going to make up the embryo. And at the bottom, you have the basal cell, which is going to form the suspensor. Okay, so explain what happens if the basal cell does not develop into suspensor, or we call it the T, the structure T. Oh, sorry, it's not structure T. Yeah, I should have labeled the structure R, right? Okay, now 1 minute. I think my diagram is structure R. Yes, sorry. Yeah, so structure R. So what happens if structure R doesn't develop? That means here it should be structure R. Okay, suspensor, which is structure R. If it does not develop, therefore the embryo will not anchor, will not be stuck to the wall of the embryo sac, or what we call the endosperm tissue. Okay, the embryo cannot be stuck there, and this is an important uh, connection, yeah, because nutrient will be channeled. All right, so if it is not anchored, therefore the embryo will not develop properly. Okay, embryo will not get nutrients, or embryo will not get hormones. Okay, and embryo will not develop into plumule. You know, the embryo will develop into the plumule, which will be the shoots, which is going to develop into a shoot, and radicle will actually develop into roots. Okay, but you can't use the word root or shoot here. You have to mention the part in the embryo, which is plumule, or radicle, or cotyledon. Okay, so embryo will not develop or does not develop into plumule or radicle or cotyledon, or you can say this will inhibit the development of embryo. So the embryo does not develop. Okay, right? Okay, next, the development of the seed is incomplete. Now, it doesn't, if you say does not occur, it's wrong. It will occur, but the development will not be complete. So it's two different concepts. Okay, it does develop, but it will not be complete. All right, or if you say small seeds is formed, it's nothing to do with the size of the seed. So the development of seed is incomplete, is correct, but not to say it does not occur. All right, so sometimes the words have to be quite specific. Okay, and then this one, we just need any 4 points from here. Okay, for you to get your maximum marks. All right, okay, next question, which is question A3, right? Third part. Okay, so diagram here, if you slice through a rambutan, right? This is a rambutan fruit. You will be able to see the seed, of course, all right? And the seed, the what we call the membrane that covers the seed, it's called a seed coat. We call it seed coat, or we call testa. Okay, not Tesla, right? Tesla is a car. So testa. So what's the question here? Explain the importance of seeds for the survival of the rambutan tree species. Okay, what's the importance of having seeds? Okay, you know that seed contains the genetic material. So whatever you see after eating your rambutan fruit, all right, if you throw the seed into your garden, it may grow into another tree. It's actually the baby of the tree that you ate from lah, right? So this is whatever you use the seed to, you can actually grow another plant from the seed. So this contains the genetic material for the next generation actually. So seed, most importantly, this is for reproduction. Okay, so you need 4 points to explain what is the importance of seed to make sure that the rambutan tree does not become extinct. That means for the survival, to ensure that there is another rambutan tree, there is another generation of the rambutan tree. Okay, so we're going to write in order to get 4 marks. Okay, so let's look here. Okay, seeds contain cotyledon. Cotyledon is the tissue that actually stores food. It's a store food, yeah? And we call it endosperm tissue. All right, okay, so the importance of it, it contains what it has. So it contains storage, right, of food. So this cotyledon or endosperm tissue is, like I said, it's a storage of food. So it provides nutrient, it provides energy for germination. The germination involves a lot of cell division. And in order for cell division to occur, you need to produce ATP in order for the chromosomes, the chromosomes to divide and get the cells to develop. So you have to have energy. And how do you get energy? Without having nutrient, you must have nutrient. Energy comes from nutrient. Okay, when a nutrient or carbohydrate or whatever energy storage is oxidized, you will get ATP. Okay, seed is enclosed by testa, so we call it the seed coat, C-O-A-T, coat, seed coat. And the important thing about testa is it is strong, and it actually is so strong that if you were to eat the seed whole, either by accident or purposely, right? If you eat any small little seed, right, it will actually will become the seed, which is the embryo and the cotyledon, will be undigested because the seed is so strong that it can resist the digestion from or the action of this enzyme, the enzyme in the hydrochloric acid and the pepsin. So it does not actually break down the testa in the testa. So it protects the seed and the seed will be unharmed actually. So imagine a bird that eats the fruits, okay, eats all the flesh and all that. And of course, the bird will also swallow the seed. So the seed will go into the digestive system of the bird and it becomes unharmed. That means the seed will come out in the feces. And when it comes out in the feces, together with the feces, it drops onto the floor, it will grow. Okay, it will grow another plant. Because of course, the feces will also be a fertilizer for them, for the plant. Okay, so seed is enclosed by testa, which is strong, or you can say hard or waterproof. And seed is a dormant structure. Dormant structure, that means it contains all the material it needs to make a baby plant. Okay, but unless you give it the proper condition, that means oxygen and water, all right, and suitable temperature, it will remain as it is. The seed will not grow. As long as it does not get oxygen, it does not get the suitable temperature, it does not get the moisture or the water, the seed will always remain a seed. Therefore, you see all the seeds that you buy, the nuts and all that, every one that you see has the potential to grow into a plant or into a tree. Okay, so that seed actually it lasts forever. All right, your seed is a very strong structure and it can continue to live, continue to be dormant for as long as the condition is not suitable for germination. When you take the seed, you give it water, you give it oxygen, you give it suitable temperature, it will grow into a baby plant. Okay, and that is the next generation of this plant. All right, okay, so because it has a testa which is strong, so this will prevent the seed from spoiling. So when you eat the seed, when you ingest the seed accidentally or whatever purposely, it will not be spoiled by the digestive enzymes. It can be stored for a long time. Okay, so the seed is very tahan. All right. Then seeds contain embryo. All right, and the embryo is contain the material for the growth of this new baby plant. It can be used for reproduction. So the next generation the next generation will be able to survive. That means you will have the seed will carry the genetic information for the next generation. This plant will not be extinct. Yeah, that is the importance of seed. It must not be easily able to be destroyed. Okay, so it has to have a very strong coating. All right, okay. So that is how many points over there? You need actually for some more points, yeah. How to finish that? Germinates. So the seed can germinate to form seedling. So remember I want to tell you the difference between the word seed and seedlings. Seed is actually the seed lah, the biji lah, right? The biji benih. Seedling is actually the baby plant. When you say seedling, it's actually anak pokok. That means the small little plant that grows, that germinates, that is called a seedling. Okay, so seed and seedling are two different things. Seedlings grow from seeds. Okay, seedling is the baby pokok, anak pokok. Okay, so it germinates to increase the number of mango trees, not mango fruits. We're not talking about fruit because we're going to talk about the whole seed germinating and getting a new tree. Okay, the next generation is the tree. Okay, not fruit. You write fruit, you get it wrong. Okay, P7, the next point. Seed is enclosed by spongy tissues of fruit. You see, the seed is always found in the fruit. So after you eat all the fleshy part, the sweet part, right? Like for example, the papaya, you are left with a lot of seeds, right? So that spongy tissues actually it's to attract it's actually a storage of food lah, right, for the plant itself, and also it's a nutrient source for animals. But after you eat the fruit, the seed will be thrown away. Normally it's thrown away. Okay, for animals sometimes you eat it and then it goes into the digestive system and it comes out in the feces. So it is to be dispersed. So the seed is very easily dispersed. Either you throw it into the dustbin, you throw it into the garden, or the animal eats it and it comes out in the feces. It can be spread. When the bird flies to another place, you will have the bird droppings. So in the droppings, you will have the seed. Okay, it can be easily spread to another place, and the seeds carry genetic information so that the plant, this plant will be able to survive. It will able to carry on and have the next generation. Okay, and the next generation will have variation because this is sexual reproduction. The seed, when you plant the seed, you cannot get 100% the parent because there is variation. Okay, so if you plant a seed, a plant from the seed, you cannot guarantee it's 100% from the parent. Exactly the same feature. You cannot, just like you and your parent are not the same. Okay, you are produced from sexual reproduction. Same with the seed. The seed is also a product of sexual reproduction of the plant. So the seed will have a little bit of variation compared to the parent. That means the parent, the pokok lah, the what you call the original pokok lah, original plants. Okay, all right. So P10, next point. This allows genetic information. So when you spread, all right, when you have the seed, it allows the genetic information to be passed down from one generation to the next generation, so the species will not be extinct. Okay, or to adapt to the environmental changes, so the species will still continue to grow or to be able to survive. All right, so any 4 points, you can see there's so many points you can write. Okay, so don't always think, oh, I've got nothing to say. It's just that depends on how much you know and how much you have read. So it's a good time for you to read as much as you can. Look at the sample books, look at the information, look at the sample answers, read as much as you can. You gather all the points, and if that question comes up, you know what to say. All right, so that's why this is the time for you to actually go through as many questions as possible. Okay, right, next question. Okay, question B now. Now, question B shows the structure of flower. You can see some parts are labeled R and S, T and U. All right, now, diagram 1.4 shows a longitudinal section of a flower. Okay, with slice all the way down. R and S are results of a process. Now, R and S, results of a process, that means this R and S is formed after undergoing a certain process. And that process occurs in T and U. So T and U are two sexual organs actually. All right, you know the flower has a male and a female. So T and U are two, one is a male, one is a female. I hope you recognize that. So U is actually referring to the female. You can see we're looking at the pistil or the carpel. Okay, U is the female reproductive organ. And the T is referring to the anther and the stamen. This is the male reproductive organ. The R is the pollen grain because this is the product. This is the result of meiosis happening in T. R is the result of meiosis happening in T. Whereas S, this is the embryo sac. S is the product of meiosis happening in U. Okay, so you can see what there are two different things here. R and S is the structure. Sorry, R and S is the structure, yes. It's the result. After going through meiosis in T and U, you will get R and S. Okay, what is the question? Okay, question here is they want you to, okay, a very common question, always compare and contrast. You will always be sure there will be definitely there will be one question, at least one. There could be two, asking you to compare and contrast between two different things. But in this question here, you have two questions. You have to compare S and T. T and U. T and U are the male reproductive organ and the female reproductive organ. Right? T is the male, U is the female. And another thing is to compare the process of making R and S. Okay, so most students are confused. Aren't they asking the same thing? Okay, definitely no. Okay, a lot of students will repeat. If that what you have answered for T and U, you will repeat for R and S. Do not repeat. It's not possible that the question will be asking you to actually repeat your answer. It is totally two different things. Okay, for T and U, you have to talk about the structure, the male organ and the female organ. Whereas for question two, formation process, talk about the process of meiosis in that produces R, which is the pollen grain, and the process of meiosis, which produces the S. So for question two is more for process. Question one, it is physical, the physical structure. Okay, when I show you the answer, you will know what I'm talking about. Okay, now let's see. So first thing, let's compare T and U first, which is the male reproductive organ and the female reproductive organ. Now, first of all, do not forget, you must talk about the similarity. Comparing, you always must have similarity and differences, not just differences. If you go ahead and write only differences, you will not get maximum marks because you forgot to write similarities. Okay, let's see. What similarities do we see about the male reproductive organ and the female reproductive organ? Okay, number one, both are reproductive organs. Okay, so you write that both. You don't have to write two times. You just write both are reproductive organs. Okay, one is male, one is female. There's difference. But the similarity, they are reproductive organs. Second point, they are both found on the same flower. Okay, you can see very clearly on the flower, just now 1.4. They are found on the same plant. I mean, not same plant, same flower. That means it's a unisexual flower. That flower will have male parts and also female parts. Okay, so this is a unisexual flower. Okay, but we're not talking about the same tree or same plant. Okay, we are talking about the flower itself. The both male and female parts are found on the same flower. Okay, so you put tree, same plant is wrong. Okay, your S2 is wrong. Okay, now let's talk about the differences. So structure T is actually the male, right? It's the stamen. You can give the name because name is not given. You just give the symbol T or U. You can give the name. Structure T is the stamen, or structure T is the male reproductive organ, but structure U is the carpel or the pistil or the female reproductive organ. Okay, so again, I want to repeat. You can write a table like this, which is most encouraged because easier for the examiner to see the answer. Or if you do not like the table, you want to write in essay form, in sentences, yes, you can, but you make sure you put them in one sentence. Okay, structure T is stamen, but structure U is carpel. Okay, do not write one whole paragraph on structure T, finish your story about structure T, then the next paragraph on structure U, and another paragraph. Never do that because you will get minimal marks, very little marks. Okay, you always must compare point by point together in one sentence. Yeah, remember this is technique in Jawab, yeah. Okay, so if you don't do that, you're going to lose a lot of marks. Okay, second point. All right, structure T consists of, in the name, what is in the statement? You have anther and filament. Okay, but structure U consists of stigma, style, and ovary. Okay, I underline stigma, style, and ovary because all these three must have. If you mention stigma or ovary without the style, wrong. D2, no marks. If you mention any one or any two, but not three, you get it wrong. You have to mention all three. Okay, next. Next point. Anther contains pollen. So you're talking about structure also. Okay, what does this structure T have? What does this anther have? Anther contains pollen, or you can also say pollen grain, while the other one is the carpel or the ovary or pistil contains ovule. Okay, the ovary, specifically ovary, because pistil including the style and the stigma. All right, but in the ovary itself, the ovule is there. Okay, so point by point. Okay, next D4, point number 4. Okay, what else you can talk about? Oh, about structure. Don't talk about process. Producing meiosis occurs. That one is for the next part. That one is you need to talk about the process. So now you just talk about the structure. All right. Pollen sac contains what? What is in the pollen sac? Okay, pollen sac contains microspore or pollen mother cells. Whereas for structure U, you have this ovule. Ovule contains megaspore. Okay, just like one microspore, this is megaspore or embryo sac, mother cell. Okay, you have to use the correct term. You will just say embryo sac cell, cannot. You must say embryo sac mother cell. Okay, because we are very particular about the term. If we talk about biology, chemistry, and physics, if the term is not there, that means you don't have the fact. Okay, the term is important. Okay, T5. Where is the location of this structure? So for structure T, it projects, means it comes out. Okay, it juts out from the base of the ovary. It comes out from the base of the ovary, while structure U is located in the middle of the flower. This is the female part, the female or the pistil. Okay, all right. So you must have a mixture of similarities and differences. So always to be on the safe side, you'll make sure you have at least one or two similarity, and the rest should be differences. Okay, next thing this is T and U, comparing T and U. Okay, next comparing R and at least one S, one similarity and one differences in order to get full marks. Okay, so now what about comparing R and S? That means now you're going to compare the process of producing pollen grain and the other one, which is the embryo sac, okay, the ovule, right? So similarities. Both start the process, we're talking about process, both of these process start with diploid mother cell. So for the male or the female, you have this diploid mother cell, and both, or same point, both are involved in haploid gamete production. So the gamete that is produced must be haploid, because this is sexual reproduction. It produces half the number of chromosomes in that gamete. Gamete always contain only half the number of the diploid chromosome. Okay, so if it's human cells, 46, the sperm must always have 23. Okay, so next point, this is S4. Both will involve meiosis process. Okay, even for male and female, that's how you produce the gamete. And before this, after meiosis, you notice that it also carry out mitosis. Okay, for plants, after undergoing meiosis, all right, you notice that it will also undergo this cell that is the nucleus that is produced. It will divide one more time. Okay, for the male, divides only one time. Whereas for the female, divides 3 times. It undergoes 3 times mitosis. Okay, so you need to know your facts. If you do not know your facts, definitely cannot write. Please revise this now. Okay, so any one or two, at least one similarity. Okay, now let's talk about the differences. D6. Okay, we continue from the D5 just now. So D6 process R, this is the male, the development of the male gamete. Okay, so process R will produce pollen grain or male gamete, whereas process S produces embryo sac or female gamete. So this is not about structure. We're talking about the process. Okay, so you see the differences between question 1 and question 2. Question 1 is specifically on the anther and the ovary, the physical structure, the differences, whereas differences and similarity. Whereas R and S is concerned more about the process, the production. That means you got to talk about meiosis and so on. All right, produces pollen grains, whereas for this one produces embryo sac. Okay, next point. Okay, so for process R, this pollen or microspore mother cell undergoes meiosis. So what is important here is the word pollen mother cell or microspore mother cell. Okay, this is for the male. Whereas for process process S, embryo sac or megaspore mother cell undergoes meiosis. Okay, so the term is important. Same format, different name, different structure, a different process, different name of the structure. Okay, for process R, the male, from one microspore mother cell, you will get 4 microspore cells developed. Okay, from one you get 4 microspore, whereas for female, the process S, you only get 1 megaspore cell, whereas the other 3 will degenerate. You become the polar bodies. Okay, so there's a difference, right, between the male and the female. If you forget again, please look through your notes. Okay, you have to make sure you have to be very clear. Otherwise, you really can't say. You really can't write. Okay, one megaspore cell will develop for the female, and while the other 3 megaspore cells will not develop. It will break down. It will degenerate. Okay, next D9. All right, for the male, the process R, for this one, nucleus. Nucleus, not cell. Nucleus in the pollen grain divides by mitosis once. So it only divides once. Okay, after the meiosis, mitosis will occur, but only once. Or you say one nucleus in the pollen tube, in the pollen divides by mitosis to produce one tube nucleus and one generative nucleus. Okay, so after undergoing mitosis, you will get from one nucleus, you get 2 nucleus. One becomes the tube nucleus, the other is the generative nucleus. So you have to give all these terms lah. Alright? If you don't give the term, you can write the first one. Nucleus in pollen grain divides by mitosis once. The most important thing is once. Whereas for the female, okay, the nucleus in the embryo sac divides by mitosis 3 times. One nucleus divide 3 times, you will get from 1 you get 2, 2 you get 4, 4 one more time you get 8. You're going to get 8 nucleus in one cell. Okay, 8 nucleus in one cell. This is the embryo sac. Or you can write 1 nucleus in megaspore divides by mitosis to produce 8 nucleus, I said, right? So one of it will become 8 cell. 2 of it will become polar nuclei, 3 will become antipodal cells, and another 2 will become synergic cells. Okay, so altogether you will have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 nucleus. Okay, so you either talk about the first sentence or the second sentence. Okay, now next, what else? What's the difference there? For the male, all right, the production of this pollen grain from 1, all right, pollen mother cell, you get 4 pollen grains. Whereas for the female, right, from 1, all right, the diploid mother cell, you will get only 1 embryo sac. You won't get 4 because the other 3 will degenerate. It will become polar bodies. It will degenerate. Okay, and next, one more. So where does it occur? Where does this process occur? Everything is talking about the process. It occurs in the anther or in the pollen sac. Okay, that is the male part. Whereas for process S, it occurs in the ovule or in the ovary. Okay, so the difference you see it very obvious, very clearly if you write in table form. All right, okay, so it's quite easy if you get all your points. So the most important thing is you have to read and read and read. There's nothing that can help you if you don't read. Okay, all the praying, all the hoping and all that is not going to help if you don't have the facts. So you cannot avoid from reading, right? This is what bios you need the facts. I mean, you can't help you with no facts. Okay, for next week, now this is the end of the question. All right, this is an SPM question actually. So next week All right, I'm going to give you certain topics. All right, I'm going to list out the topics which you must not forget to revise. Okay, for structure and also especially for essay. Okay, from experience, what I've seen for so many years, what kind of topics will come out for essay? So I have the answer for that. All right, it's not ramalan, it's not a prediction. I don't have a crystal ball. I haven't seen the questions, but I can tell you from so many years of observation and analyzing the questions, I will know there is a trend and what questions are likely to come out in the essay part. All right, so next week I will let you know, right? Because next week will be the last lesson for me to prepare you for the exam. Before your exam is on the 3rd of February. Okay, so next week after Chinese New Year, 4th day of Chinese New Year. All right, same time, same day, Saturday, 4 p.m. All right, okay. So here at least one S and one D lah. That means one similarity and one differences. Okay, so this is the lesson for the ninth question actually I've discussed with you. So I hope that you will join me next week. All right, so I'm going to give you my Telegram name in case you would like to get in touch with me. Sorry, I cut it. Okay. In case you will ask questions, please do. I do not mind. In fact, I enjoy helping you, right, answering questions. So if you want to have look at more videos that I've done over the 4 years, so you can look at this address www.youtube.com and that's my name. And you can look through my playlist and see what other videos you would like that can help you. All right, okay. So thank you very much for joining today, and I hope to see you again next week. All right, okay. Bye bye. See you.